at night, I went to adult school because I didn't have money to pay a university. So I wake up at 5 a.m. I didn't have a car. Can't you imagine the life without a car in California? So I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to take the bus for 2 hours to go to my first job. And then without even having lunch, take another bus to go to the other job. And you know what? After that, I had to take another bus to go to the adult school. And at night, I didn't even have a way to go back home. So I had to make friends so they give me a ride to go back home. And I remember, I decided to be creative. I say, okay, I'm gonna buy a Walkman. I don't remember I don't know if the translators can get that word, the Walkman, that little thing that we used to put here to listen. So in the bus, I used to try to learn English a little bit. And after 6 months, I was speaking a little bit. After I finally find a way to go to the college, and I study international business, and I study marketing, and I study management. And it was funny. I just skipped all the all the grammar classes because I love business. So I was just happy to understand the classes. For 6 years, in May, while I was studying, I was an employee for 6 years. So I was an employee for 6 years, but I never forget that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I never forget my dream. It was not easy being myself there, but I was trying just to do my best and to take the opportunity that I was living in the United States. So after 6 years, I decided to open my first business. And I didn't lose money in that business, but I didn't either make some money. So after I opened another little business, I was trying to do some sales from things that I brought from Colombia to the United States. And it was not successful. And I was kind of getting again frustrated. But after I started doing the real estate, I got my license of real estate, and I opened my own business. So when I was doing real estate, finally I started being successful. This is my picture 20 years ago from my business card of the real estate business. And I owned this business for 3 years. And I start making some money. Finally, I buy a car. I was so happy in my car. Finally, I bought a house in the United States, a beautiful big house. But as I say, I bought a house, but honestly, the owner, it was the bank, because we just put 10%, and the bank, we made a loan from 90%. But I was so happy. I was thinking oh my God, I finally kind of live in the American dream, But I was not happy. And one day I was crying, and I got on my knees because I was missing my family. And I prayed to God for an opportunity, and I say, God, I need a business that allows me to live between Colombia and the United States. I don't want to go back to Colombia, and neither I don't want to stay in the US. I want to have a house in the US, and I want to have a house in Colombia. And today that's my reality. And I pray, and I got on my knees, and someone that didn't know me listened to this, and a cold contact introduced me to this business. I put some ads on the newspaper to interview people to work with me in real estate. And one of those people that I was interviewing, he was Colombian. And when I was interviewing, he said, Patty, have you ever heard about a machine that smooths the wrinkles of your face in 5 minutes? And I say, what? We were talking about houses, and I wasn't going to start laughing. No, not like laughing at himself. I'm like, we're talking about houses, and now he's talking about a machine that will smooth the wrinkles of my face in 5 minutes. So I say, okay, send me some information. How many people say that to you, and you kind of get frustrated because you don't even know what to send, right? So he starts sending me information through email. At that point, it was email. And in the morning, I will check my emails. I was so busy that I will delete what I consider trash. So I had trash that I will delete it and delete it. But he was so persistent. How many of you are persistent when you are following people that you think can be a really good prospects in this business. He followed me for 2 months. He sent me information. And you know what? Finally, one time I feel like bad and I say, okay, what is the meeting? So I went to the meeting. And when I went to the meeting, I saw people doing this half-face demo. And I was thinking myself, I'm selling houses. I'm not going to go back to sell little machines that I will make like, I don't know, $50 or $100. So I say to him, thank you so much. I like it. Give me the catalog so I can see some products. And I didn't sign and I leave. But guess what? He was persistent and he's still calling me and send me message. So finally, I went to another meeting that it was more like a formal meeting, an opportunity meeting, in a kind of like ballroom. So I went there and guess what? I still having a lot of doubts because I never done in my life before network marketing. So I almost leave the room, but thanks to God, some people that was there approached me and say, Patty, if you don't see, if you don't go to the company, you will never see the vision. That's what they told me. And I say, what? Say, if you don't go to the company, you will never see the vision. And I say, what is the company? And they say, in Provo. And I say, what is Provo? I didn't even know. In Utah. And like, what is Utah? I never been in Utah. And you know what? They kind of like put me everything in a way that weekend, I think, or the following weekend, I went to Provo, Utah. And when I went to Provo, Utah, is when finally I saw like I fell in love with the heart of the company. I fell in love with the of the company from the beginning. And in that meeting, I had the opportunity to meet Alan Nagao. And I remember when I heard his story, I got like impact, like I got like, wow, this guy made a lot of money and JoJo's, and now he's here. So I tried to talk to him, but he was so busy that he gave me his the business card for his assistant. So finally, because I write an email, I think, to his assistant, he sent me a barbecue meeting something, and I drove like for 2 hours to go and meet Alan Nagao in the barbecue. And in that meeting, I tried to say, oh, I'm new. My upline disappeared. Can you imagine that? After that, I couldn't talk to him. He disappeared. And Alan, I don't know if he didn't even know that I was in his downline or he found out. And I asked him for a meeting. And he said, Patty, I'm really busy. So I say, I just need help with one meeting. I will learn and I will continue. Because I know this is a huge business, but honestly, I don't know because I'm doing really good in my real estate business. And he said, so what I should do this business? And Alan say, Patty, if you continue to do real estate, you will be always start from zero. If you don't sell a house, you will not make money. And with that, when you're going to have time for your family? And that words just made me to decide. And he said, start doing this, even though it's part-time. And I say, okay, just help me with my first meeting. And he said, I'm busy. So I convinced him to do my first meeting next day at 10 p.m., in Los Angeles, California. So I went to my apartment. It was Sunday. Actually, I was feeling a little sick, when women would get sick. And I was like, oh my God, tomorrow I'm going to have a meeting with Alan Nagao. So I had all my agenda and I started calling and say, this is a huge business person. He's coming from Hawaii. He's just going to be here one day, And actually, with what emotion sometimes you invite people, or what is the edification that you do to your leaders? So I don't know, but I invite a lot of people, and like 25 people or 30 show up next day in one of my house's friends. And that night I became brand representative. And after I became Ruby kind of like quickly, like after like 2 months, but guess what? In the 3rd month, I become brand representative again. I lose all my 4 brand representatives. And I say, Patty, you are not following the system. You are not learning. You are not teaching people how to fish. You are giving the fish. And I was like, oh my God. And Rose said that I'm coachable, but honestly, I was not coachable at the beginning because I remember they give me system and I was doing the things on my way because I thought I was like, oh, I can do this better. I remember that Alan showed me a CD and I was like, Alan, that CD is horrible. Like, do a better CD. Even to criticize all the things that Alan had at that time. So after I started working, and Alan, I remember that he started telling me, Patty, you need to do the statement. And I remember one time he was in my apartment, or we were in a house, and he was doing the statement in the and I say, I'm not gonna do that. That's like crazy. I don't want to do that. And I didn't do it. So I became diamond. And when I became diamond, after I became lapis again. You know, this is like the story of all most of the leaders. And when I became lapis again, I wanted to quit. Finally, that time, I remember I called Alan and I said, Alan, this is not for me. This is not for me. You know, this is for the Asians, because all my uplines were Asians, Alan, Steve. Then and I say, I'm not that disciplined, you know, and I don't know how to do this because I'm going like this and I'm losing time and I'm losing money. And what? I'm going to go back to the United States because I was kind of like start traveling to Colombia at that time. And I want to do real estate again. And you know what? That is something that I'm going to say. It's so important that you know your why and you know the why of your distributors, because Alan saved me. And here, thanks to him. Because I remember Alan told me that, Patty, yes, that's true. You can go back to the United States and make money in the real estate. Yes, but when you're going to have time for your family. So he goes like this into my heart, into my feelings. And I was like, and he said, Patty, just package again, go back to the United States. This is, it was an event at that time. And when I went to that event, you know, right now you just got to do click and be in the Zoom. That's the only thing that you need to do to be in our events. At that point, I had to package my luggage, go to the United States again. And when I went to that event, I listen to the stories of other Tina Lees. And when I listen to the stories of Tina Lees, I say, this is the life that I want. And it was not about the money. It was about the time. It was about the things that they were doing for the world. It was the significance that they were doing for the world, because I say, I can do more in the real estate business. But that day, I finally made my decision. And that's something really important that I'm going to tell you. Like if you are doing Nu Skin or the project that you are doing, you need to do your final decision. They call like your like defining moment. That was my defining moment when I made the decision. And Alan told me, Patty, let me see your goals. And honestly, at that point, I didn't still have big goals. And they say, Patty, because my goals were just more material. But they say, Alan said, no, Patty, you need to have goals in the relationships. What is the goal? What is my goal? And he said, what is your goal in the physical part, in the spiritual part? What you're going to do for the world, still doing now, you need to decide what you're going to do for the world, what you're going to give to the world. And I was like, oh my God, I never knew that because I was just focused in my material, in my financial part, because that was the part that I missed when I was a little kid. So, and then he said, Patty, just get a white paper, go to a place that you love. And I love the ocean, and I love the Turkish water. And he just said, just go to a beautiful place. And I went to the San Andres Island in my mind. And then he said, Patty, just dream big again. Oh my God, still here? Yes? Is okay?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I saw everybody frozen, so I say my internet is okay. Okay, so I went in mind into the Turkish beaches of my country, and and he said, Patty, you need to dream again as like you are a little kid, and don't think in the how. That's the key. Don't think in the how. Just dream big again. And this is my original dream that I did in that white paper. I did a 4 square, and then I start dreaming in my relationship. And I just put hearts there. I just put that one day I will fall in love again. I just put my family in a heart. I say I want still all my family being together all the time. I put my team in a heart. I say I'm gonna have 1,000 executives. That was the word before brand representative. And I put a heart and notice the children. And I say this is everything is gonna be in a heart. And I gonna have the guidance of. And then in the given part, I put that I will give a lot of love and I put notice the children. And then in the physical part, I draw myself. You can see like I really make like things like a little kid. According to me, that was a teenage lead, before the company used to give us like a trophy. I put myself like as a teenage lead. I say that I will be happy all the time. And then in the material part, Alan say, Patty, you need to dream big. And at that point, I just want one house. And I say, I just want one house pay. I just want a car that is paid. But he said, no, dream big. And I say, okay, I will own houses. Why not? I will have a business around the world. I will have a house that I can see the ocean and really start dreaming big. And after, Alan said, Patty, now put this into real images. And I remember that I started looking in the magazines. This is my original dream board. And I start making it to the magazines. I still really believe on this. And I start putting like couples in different places. Like I put that I will travel around the world. If you can see, I put that actually my favorite airline at that time that I was Avianca. And you can see that airline, that airplane is exactly in California and going around the world. And I put 10 houses on the bottom, the houses that I wanted to own in real estate. I put the apartment that I want to have in Bogota, the farm that I'm right now in Chachagui. And I put everything that I will go to the best places. And I remember at that point, I didn't put at that point that I will get married because I was not sure about that yet. I was kind of confused still. And I put that I will go to Africa to know the Nourish the Children program. And then Alan say, okay, Patty, now we need to repeat the statement every day. And finally, to do that. And finally, I start doing the same thing. When I go to the shower, I start repeating my statement. But at the beginning, to be honest, I start doing that under my blankets on the bed. I didn't put emotion, and it was not working. And Alan said, Patty, you need to read the book Think and Grow Rich. Read the chapter number 2, and then you will find out that you need to put emotion into your statement. You need to visualize what you are saying. And at the beginning, when Alan said visualize, I was visualizing kind of like black things. I couldn't visualize too. But little by little, Alan said yesterday, is like after you start doing this, like just like your mind start practicing and you start repeating this. And after I start seeing this, and it was already true. And I visualized myself walking in Salt Lake City with 20,000 people, like being recognized as a teen elite. I start finally visualize my dream board, and I start doing my statement. I remember that it was my birthday, and I say to Alan, that's the biggest present that you can give it to me. So help me to do my statement. And he helped me to do my statement, and I had that original statement that he helped me to do that too. And Alan said, Patty, repeat your self-confidence formula. And it took me some time too, we need to be coachable from the beginning, decide to do that. And when I start doing my statement, I realized that I need to be a better leader. When I start reading this, when I say I eliminate hated, envy, all these bad feelings that sometimes we have, I realize that I need to be a better leader every day. And I really need to give love to the humanity and start being myself a bigger leader, a better leader. And I did a plan of action, of course. And I say that day, when I say that I took my final decision, I say, I will never stop. I will never stop until I become a teen elite. And I will be willing to work from the morning to the night, even though over the weekend and Sundays. And I start working like from 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. until 12 p.m. And Alan say the minimum we had to do 3 presentations. So I say that's the average. So I say I will do like 6 presentations a day if I had to do that to be connectionally. And I will learn how to dry the lines because he always told me about that. And honestly, I didn't understand. There is a video from Alan that you can see. And I say, I'm going to learn how to drive in the lines. But honestly, let me tell you, Alan was talking yesterday too. Sometimes when we think too much from our head, we lose our feelings. And it's really good to work from our heart. Because actually, when you start like waking up every day, like the founders say that we need to wake up every day thinking about how many people we are going to help that day. And that way, if you wake up with that, if you wake up being grateful and just thinking how many people that we can help, believe me, you're going to have more results in your business, And I started taking a lot of action. All these pictures, and this is something incredible. This is when I was doing one-on-ones in different cities. You can see in different little businesses at night. And no one from this picture still in the business. It's many people that is going to leave. Many people that is going to leave you, even though sometimes some people now, because they are not going to have the same vision that you have, or they are not going to have the same mind that you have. So I lost a lot of people, but guess what? Little by little, the leaders start appear. And I remember when I saw Dean Wynn, because Dean is one of my biggest inspirations, because he became Dean Eli, and I was like, wow, like he's incredible. I remember when he showed us that flags, actually when today he said that, I say, I'm gonna buy all the flags for all from the things that I have in different countries. But I remember that actually made me to attract. This is one of my things in Spain. And I started having teams on Spain and in so many cities. And you know what? Finally, we start being successful in Colombia doing a big meetings. And I remember this picture right there. I took that picture and I was crying. I was crying because finally, after, I don't remember, 4 or 5 years, success is not from the morning to the night. Success is something that you build every day in your mind, with your, I don't want to say hard work, with your smart work. And that day I say, thank you, God, because it's done, And finally, I start like seeing my dreams coming true. I remember when I started doing the business, I used to spend 1 hour with my parents, because we used to come to Colombia 1 week or 2 weeks, and I used to visit 9 or 10 cities of Colombia. So I came to my city that I'm right now in Pasto, Colombia. And in the morning, I was helping my sister, that my sister is here today with me. She's a blue diamond, and she has Tina Liz in her downline now. She was one of my first guests, and I want to say thank you to her. But I didn't have time to be with my parents, so I was working hard. And after that, I started spending like an afternoon with my parents. And after that, I started spending like a day with my parents. After that, I started spending 2-3 days. To now, I spend with my parents 6 months of a year. And I'm so happy doing that. But not just that, I start like being so happy to complete their dreams. My parents never had a chance to travel. And I start inviting them to the success trips, because the success trips, every region has different success trip. For the Americans, we are going into a cruise. The Europeans go, I don't know, Laurita and Javier, what you guys are going now. But every region, Korea, we got people here from Vietnam. We had different success trips. And it's for 2 people. But, when you're making money, you can invite your family. So I invited my parents to my success tree, and I had the privilege to introduce them to the founder, to Sandy Tillis, and to Scott, that I love him so much. he's in the sky, and I love him so much. But he was so special to my parents, and I had the privilege to introduce my family to them. And I had the opportunity to take them to United States, to Disneyland. My father never had that abundance conscious. And he still say, Patty, that's expensive. That's expensive. Let's not go to that restaurant. It's expensive. I remember that I had to lie to him. I say, Dad, don't worry. Those tickets were for free. I'm taking you with miles, because he didn't want to travel with me. They were, Patty, don't spend too much money. You need to save. That was that conscious. So we need to say our conscious too. It doesn't matter what like our family say to us. We have to be careful, because those things doesn't help us to be to have abundance in our mind. So I was so happy finally to take them to so many places. In my dream, one time I was flying, I was working, I find something in the newspaper that say Woman of the Year. So I put that I will be the Woman of the Year, because I really wanted that company put attention to me, so they can send me to nourish the children, to Africa to see nourish the children. Actually, that was my final thing that I wanted. And I became the Woman of the Year, I think in 2012. And finally that day, I keep the same pictures because I love those pictures, because I was so happy the day that I become finally. I know you're going to be so happy that day. I know Rose, I know Laurita, all the people that I'm seeing here are going to be so happy like that day when finally I become finally. And after the first million came, that actually I love that, because that was like a big milestone for me. Now we're in the circle of excellence too. And I was so happy too when I became Platinum 4, And I remember that I used to see the Tina list with their stories, and I say, I'm going to have that pin here. I'm going to have that pin here. What are the declarations that you do to your mind every day? What are the declarations? So that's so important when we say every day. Alan yesterday was saying we need to check what we're thinking every day. Actually, I gotta be honest with you. Sometimes we have bad days. I was telling Alan yesterday. Yesterday I was sad for what happened to Nathan. He was so young, and we were talking about that. And I say, Alan, I didn't have a good day today. And I realized my mind was not thinking in the proper way. And that's not okay. We need to, thanks to God, now I can recognize that, so I can change that. It's so important that we recognize where our mind is not focused in what we want. When our mind is say different things than what we want. But you know what? To be honest, if we do the statement in the morning, if we do the statement at night, if we cut and we do our grateful list, if we visualize, if we read a book that helps us to grow personally, honestly, our mind tends to be more straight in what we want. But you know what? There was one thing that I didn't believe, and I remember to say to Alan. I remember I was in a house of one of the Tinalies, it was I forgot, but we were close to Utah with one of the Tinalies in his house, and I was crying, and I said to Alan, there is one thing that I don't believe. Like I don't believe that I can find my dream man, like the person that can share my life, because I say I don't know. I just don't believe. And say, Patty, if you don't believe, that's not gonna happen. And he asked me if I had a list of the things or what I want in that person, and I said, no. So he said, Patty, take a paper, and I did the list that day with him. And I remember when I showed Alan the list, he said, Patty, that's impossible, ma'am. And he was laughing, and I was laughing because I say, I don't want this person like drink or smoke and this, that. I made a huge list, and we were laughing. I say, no, Alan, if you told me, I know that I will find out the person. And that was the moment when I finally put ring on my dream board, and finally I realized that I didn't have that. I put like a couple in a wedding, and in my dream board I have that I will move to Miami. because I wanted to move from Los Angeles to Miami because it's close to Colombia. It's just from Los Angeles to here, when there is no direct flight, it's like 13 hours. So from Miami to here is just 3 hours. So I said that I wanted to move to Miami, and I put that in my dream board. And guess what? That part of the dream board became reality. This was our first apartment in Miami. Sometimes I start making jokes with Alan, because I say, Alan, I just wanted like to have like a balcony that I can watch a beautiful view. I never realized that person in the picture, but Alan said, Patty, it's almost the same. Oh my God. So the only thing that I can tell you is you have to be careful what you wish for. Because I remember to say to Alan, Andres is not that tall. And say, sorry, Patty, the person in the picture is not that tall. So we got married. Alan is our godfather. We got engaged in one of the Tinali trips. Now we've been together 9 years. And all these pictures that I put in this turquoise water become reality. I remember when I was working in Nu Skin that I got frustrated, and like sometimes I got frustrated, and I was not watching TV, because they say you either decide TV or PV, TV, television, or volume points. So I used to go to YouTube, and look for things like the best islands of the world. I start making a list: Seychelles, Maldives, this and that, the best beautiful cities in the world. And I start putting that in my mind. And guess what? Everything start become a reality. We went to Maldives, we went to Seychelles, we went to Philippines. We've been in more than, I think, 65 countries. We've been in the Dead Sea, Dean. I know that's one of your dreams. I was in the Dead Sea reading a book. I couldn't believe people do that there. But I think you said you want to read your own book. So that becomes my new goal, reading my own book. So I was there with my parents. I took them to Jerusalem. And we've been in so many places around the world. I love to travel. If you love to travel, you are in the right place, because we had so many destinations this year to visit together. And, just we've been living a life. And we went to so many places. I'm going to go fast here. But you know what? One of the best things was to work, to travel with the team. To my first success trip, I went myself. In the second one, it was 7 people. In the next one, 14, 20, 30. But you know what? Last year in Punta Cana, I lived one of my biggest dreams. I had with me maybe like 800 people from our team in that Punta Cana trip. And I gotta tell you that I was so happy. I remember that success trip, I worked so much, and it was like, Patty, but you're talking the whole day. But I say, I'm happy. I just happy. For me, doesn't feel work. I was at the pool with so many people, at dinner with so many people, and I was so like happy to see so many people with us. And it's nice to travel, but it's so nice to travel with the team. So, and one of the things that I visualized in my dream board was giving the food to the kids in Malawi. Actually, I remember that I visualized that, and I giving the food to the kids in Malawi, and that became true too. And for me, that was a before and after. I gotta tell you. And when I was there, I say to the team, we need to bring this to Colombia. And guess what? That became true too. And that I remember that day I feel with Alan like, oh my God, we were crying, Alan and we were crying. And I like really, actually, I was becoming like Circle of Excellence 4 or 20, because I was so grateful with the company and with God that we were able to bring this program to Colombia. And after, my dream was like, we need to have this in the whole Latin America. And thanks to the company, to run that roles. Now we have this program in Mexico. Now my dream is to have this in Peru. And honestly, is to have this program in so many countries of Latin America that need this. We are feeding 5,000 kids in Colombia. We are feeding 1,000 kids in Mexico. And I just love this, you know. And Alan always told Patty, first you work for success, but after you work for significance. And that's what I love, you know. And guess what? All these like houses that I put in the dream board become a reality too. My first apartment that I bought, it was a little apartment in the corner. But now we are doing those amazing investments in so many countries and Mexico and United States. And I just like so happy to share with you this, because actually, not to show you, just to tell you that that becomes true. And now I'm happy because I'm doing a lot of content with my team, so that because those houses are for my team. That was my dream, to have different houses around the world, so we can share with Dean and with everybody houses here in Tulum or Cancun or Miami or Florida, because all my success is thanks to my team. But one time I said to Alan, for every house that I have, I'm going to build a house. So Alan helped me to build the first house. We were so happy to build that house. And I wanted to paint those houses in blue, because I wanted to see from the helicopter of the airplane that we can have like a little Nuskin house there. Those are little houses. But I was so happy to give these houses, to leave these little houses to people they were living on the streets. So I put house number 1, number 2, number 3, because my goal is to build 13 houses, and we are working on it. And you know, this year I had an incredible, I reached that one of my dreams was to give the house that my mom wanted. But that house, it was outside of the city, where the weather is kind of different. Right now, here is like an amazing weather, you know, it's amazing weather, and that becomes so I just want to show you how happy I am to give this house that we are right now to my mom. My mom is 84 right now. My father just became 90. But I was so happy just to say, Mom, this is your new house. And I'm so happy to share my time with them and to see them so happy in this house. It's just like, I just want to tell you that work every day to your dreams is worth it. So here is my family. Now we share so many good memories in this house, doing barbecues and celebrating Christmas. For me, my wife is my family. So I just want to say to you, what kind of leader do you want to be? What kind of inspiration you want to be to your kids? What kind of inspiration you want to be to your team, to the world? You know, for me, it's been a pleasure to be in so many countries, share my story. Here is when we were in Korea with Alan, like, and so happy. I really want to go to Vietnam with Dean soon too. And I just want to say, how do you want to live your life? You know, the beginning of your success is in the end of your comfort zone. And I think this is the best phrase that like Santi Tilison can give it to us, is say, never, ever quit, because it's the only way that we can be successful. Now, this is my new dream board that I'm working on it. I actually now I make like things reality, because I'm so crazy about this. Did you see that picture? The tennis is not real. Actually, that's like I put my faces there. But guess what? Now I'm playing tennis finally. These pictures there that I'm kind of like fit and working like out. Now I'm doing exercise and I feel so happy to do that. I put like everything exactly what I want, the places, like the building that I'm like the farm that I'm building right now. I put exactly like the kids that I wanted to feed, the houses that I wanted to do, the Aloha Foundation that I hope all of you help me to have, like a different Aloha Foundation around the world to help so many people. And actually, exactly my organization, exactly what I want. The number of finalists, actually, this is, I need to put the updated one that I did, exactly how many points I had in every country, my front lines. So I put, like, I really kind of like crazy about my dream board because I know it works. I know it works. So that's what I was so excited to ask Alan to do this seminar with you guys, because I remember one time I tell Alan, I already finished to read Think and Grow Rich. So I should read like different books. And he said, yes, Patty, but honestly, you don't need to read Think and Grow Rich book. You need to study. You need to study the book. And I remember when he told me, study? And now I think actually, like, I don't know, it's the 7th or 8th time that I'm reading this. And actually, like right now, like I'm so excited to go again with every chapter, to read, to listen to all the recordings that we have right now, and taking notes and doing so many stuff, because I really wanted to become an expert in this book because I know it works. 2 years ago, I decided to go to Tony Robbins seminars. Guess what? When I was there, Tony Robbins was speaking most of the time about the Think and Grow Rich book. And when I meet to so many entrepreneurs, I remember that I meet a guy that he was like just 22 years and he was already super successful. And I asked him, like, and he said he's gonna give me his secret. And what? He showed me the book Think and Grow Rich book. It's incredible. I remember that I went to Mexico to visit an entrepreneur to introduce her, nourish the children. And she was kind of like telling me her story, that she started from zero and she became a huge entrepreneur. And I was in her beautiful house. And then they say, Patty, you look like a really nice person. She's going to introduce me her secret. She went to the 2nd floor and she came back with the book Think and Grow Rich book from Napoleon Hill. So it's so many coincidences about people telling me about this book that I'm so excited to study this book. And I just want to tell you that through this year, to these 13 years, I just learned that, like, I need to just program my mind to be positive, just positive. There is no work in my mind that had the impossible word or like the NO word. Like, I try to change everything that I say. I try to change always to a positive thing. Second, I try to, like Alan told me, Patty, change I don't even mention the name problem, and I don't even mention the name difficulty. I try to make like I had a challenge. I just eliminate those words from my lexico. I just like eliminate those words from when I speak, because I just wanted to have positive words in my mind. So change any difficulty into an opportunity. Eliminate excuses. I hate myself when I start, I didn't do this because this or that. Those are excuses. So I say to myself, that's an excuse. And when I say to myself, that's an excuse, my mind can like focus immediately into the opportunity. And another thing that I always say now, I try to focus in the things that I can control. I cannot control the way sometimes my husband thinks. I cannot control like how my family thinks. I cannot control sometimes how some leaders wanted to think or act, but I can control my attitude. I can control the way that I behave. I can control my discipline. So for me, it's been an honor to be here. I hope you guys had some notes, and I just want to tell you, I'm so excited about this 2023. I think like on the 31st, my dress was like a gold, because I know this year is going to be a blessing for us. But that's the way that we have to think, that 23, even though people say, oh, it's a crisis, and this and that. Yes, that's what people say. But you know what? It's so easy to be positive when everything is okay. But the thing that we had to do is being positive when everybody say it's crisis, it's inflation, it's that, I know, I listen, like, I can see that. That's what I try not to watch news and that. But honestly, what I think, and that comes from my heart, is 2023 is going to be amazing if we decide, if we say that every day in the statement. So I just want to challenge you to do your miracle hour in the morning. And I'm going to tell you, if you are not taking a lead, we need to wake up at 5 a.m. I remember when Dean Wynn came to Colombia, and he told us that secret, that he paid like so much money to this person. And I remember that I was not Platinum 4. I say, I need to wake up at 5 a.m. And when I start work, I will start waking up at 5 a.m. By 8 a.m., I did so many things, and I start changed my life. You know, that book, 5 a.m. book club, changed my life, because since that book, I'm doing exercise. I reading a book, a different book per month, and my mind changing. When I do my miracle hour, my mind is deep by this. And for any reason I don't do that, I kind of like get lost during the day. So I'm so grateful with Alan, and I'm so grateful for all of you that are here, because believe me, we had a bless to be in this team, because we had an amazing mentor, and I'm happy. I think now he's here with us. I'm so happy that he's gonna continue to share his wisdom to us. And Alan, are you here? Yes.
Yes.
So Alan is already with us. I'm so happy to introduce my mentor, my friend, my mastermind. Like, as my mom said, he's the son of our family. He's like part of our family. We are so grateful with him and Alan, not just me, but all the team. And we are so grateful for all the things that you are doing. Thank you so much for preparing this for us. I'm so grateful with Dean Wynn too. He was amazing with us, and we love him so much. I'm so happy that we are together as a team. Aloha, and I'm grateful with all the translators, Laurita, Javier, and all the people from Hong Kong, from Vietnam. And thank you, Rose. She was amazing host today. So, Alan, I'm so happy to pass the thing to you. So, I love you. Thank you so much.
I hope you guys can hear me. It's the first time I'm using my headset and everything because I'm at the airport doing this. I know it looks like I'm in Hawaii, but you guys can hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up, Laura. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And is Dean Wynn still over here? Is Dean Wynn still over here? Yeah.
Yes,
I want to thank Dean, first of all, if we can highlight him, Jillian, because I'd love him to share just a couple things about how he uses the law of attraction. Oh, Dean's not in his seat. He's okay. Well, anyway, my topic I'm going to cover very quickly today is about the brain and about this miracle machine. And what I was thinking of having Dean share is really amazing. Hi, Dean. Hello. Dean's back. Hi, Dean. How are you?
Okay, Alan.
I just wanted you to share just a couple for all of the students out there, because one of the things interesting about Dean is he's a 4-star platinum, 4-star platinum, 4-star platinum, 4-star platinum, 4-star platinum. I mean, he's done it so many times, 5 times platinum team elite, 4 times 4-star platinum team elite, and the 5th time platinum team elite. But I just wanted to ask you this question, because one of the things interesting about Dean is you just notice how gentle he is. He's not going out there, I mean, he's working really hard, but he doesn't seem like he's ever working. And it's just one of the secrets, I think, is the law of attraction and the way he does it. Now, all of those books you see back there and so much more, he's read more than once. So this is one of the keys is the personal development journey that he's been on. For how many years have you been on personal development journey?
Probably about 30, maybe 30 years.
Yeah. And tell me, like, what is your secret to continuously become 4-star platinum, and what is the law of attraction like for you?
I think that I just do my best. If you ask me, how, I just do my best. Some a certain thing that I do it daily, and when I do something, I just do the best, because that I learned from one of the leader in Citibank. He owns from America. He said, do all you can do. All you can do is all you can do, but all you can do is enough. Because nothing more than all you can do, right? Because when you do all you can do, and I think that that's the thing, that when we really we actually run for the team elite 4-star. We have the very clear goal, and then we put our head down and we work until the day that we look up and everything changes. Do all
I
you
love
can
that.
do. Do all you can do.
That's absolutely true. I totally agree with that. And actually, that's been my secret as well. I always try to do all I can do, and that's all you can do is all you can do. So,
Yeah,
you know,
and all you can do is enough.
yeah, it's enough. Well, I'm here in Salt Lake City in the beautiful airport actually, and we are I'm broadcasting from right in front of the rent a car area today. So, I mean, like, that's what I mean. Like, all you can do. It landed, I set up, and we're ready to go. So, wow. Thank you, Dean, for also handling the leaders meeting. We would
Well,
love
thank
to
you,
have
Alan, to
you
have a
on.
chance to doing that, to
Well,
serve the
we're
team.
definitely between the 19th and the 21st, 19, 20, and 21, we're going to have at the same time a very special training for all of the distributors and all the people that want to do new skin, how to do new skin for 2023. So we would love you to come on and do
Okay.
some of the leaders training for that
Yeah.
as well.
Thank you, Alan.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, I'm going to get into the subject really quick here because I'm going to try and complete this in just under 1 hour. The topic today is the brain. And I'm going to be sharing with you this idea of the brain. And let me see here if I can get this thing moving. Let me see if it's on full screen. There it is. So, this mighty brain of ours is actually quite amazing because it's both the broadcasting station and the receiving station for the vibration of thought. So, what we're doing is we're actually sending out signals and receiving signals all the time. It's almost like we can talk to each other just through our brain. And so, we have anatomy or a function of how this works. But within this amazing brain is such power. And to give you an idea, if we compare it, the human brain has 100 billion neurons, and each neuron connects to 10,000 other neurons. Sitting on your shoulder is the most complicated object in the universe. All kids are born geniuses, but they are crushed by society and crushed by, our thinking process, because what we do, we're trained not to use the most powerful part of our mind. I have no idea why every school doesn't teach us to use this incredible power. So if you compare it against a supercomputer, how would we stand up with these neurons against, like, let's say this is an array of supercomputer here. This is one of the fastest and biggest supercomputers in the world. And if you look at this compared to your brain, for computing, maybe for input and output, the computer wins. But when we start talking about complex movement, vision, language, we're about equal match. But when we start talking about creativity, emotion, empathy, planning, um, executive functions, leadership, consciousness, the brain is still far, far ahead of the biggest supercomputer in the world. So what we're talking about today is how we can use this supercomputer in its most powerful form for ESP, or extra sensory perception. Is it real? And there were these tests that Joseph Bank did to test if someone could see the cards, maybe, and then put like walls, concrete walls, and then put maybe 100 miles in between. And even hundreds of miles did not affect the ability to read the card. It was amazing. And not everybody was highly developed in this skill, but there were dozens of people that were so highly developed that there's no way it was conclusive. They could actually see the picture of the cards as they broadcast it from somebody else, 100 miles away. It's unbelievable how strong this and how fast this travels. So it's instantaneous communication from brain to brain. So mind reading test is used to kind of like diagnose if you have this power. Well, tell you the truth, everybody has the power. It's just about development of the power. And you have to kind of use this power. So Dean always says to his team, Alan has this special gift to be able to read your mind or see your blocks. And that's all I'm using, is just this special, way to read and see. So we can use it for fun things like seeing a card, but we can use it for a lot bigger things, like how to maybe improve your life, or how to find your blocks or things like that. So we're going to talk about using this receptive way of listening. And you have to have a very quiet mind. You have to listen through your feelings, and everybody's slightly different. So some people are auditory. That means they're going to hear the answer. I'm auditory, so I ask my mind questions like, is this person, maybe does this person beat themselves up? And as I ask that question, I get an answer. So it's auditory. Other people are visual. They can see the picture in their mind, and other people are kinesthetic and they're feeling. You can do a very simple test if you want to try this, to see which one you are. If you have somebody ask you some questions like, who's your kindergarten teacher? Here, Patty, look at me. Look at me, Patty. Patty, hello. Look at me, okay? So I'm gonna ask Patty. Can you highlight Patty real quick? I'm gonna unshare. Let me see here. Stop my share here real quick. So if I ask Patty real quickly, Patty, can you tell me your um some name of your elementary school teacher?
Yes, Magola. I remember Magola, Dolores, y Amparo.
Wow. Anybody else? Tell me somebody else.
Well, I just got 3 teachers in my elementary school. Like
Okay.
one for 2 years, I just got 3
Okay.
teachers.
Can you tell me what your favorite dress was when you were young?
Yes, John, a little kid, a blue dress that my mom bought it to me with a lot of effort.
Wow, I'll tell you what, Patty is hard to read. She moves so quickly, her brain works so quickly. So she probably is visual. Probably, I'm just gonna guess visual, but most people that are visual will look up for a second and access their memory. They'll actually look up like how I'm looking up like this. And if they're auditory, they'll look to the side like that. And if they're kinesthetic, they'll look down like that. So Patty actually has a lot of kinesthetic because she looked down and then she looked up. But I mean, she looks up so quickly that you can hardly even see it. But anyway, this is just a little way to know if somebody is kinesthetic, auditory, or visual. And that's because your brain works differently. Everybody's brain works slightly differently. So you can use this kind of little special way to know. And you can actually use this to benefit because if you know somebody is auditory, um, you can say, hey, um, you know what? We'll give you audio training. You know, you can just listen to this and they, oh, really? I love that. You know, and where somebody else might say, you know what? I'll draw you the picture and it will be much more communicating to their brain because they're, let's say, visual. Or if somebody is more kinesthetic, you can say, well, how do you feel if if you can spend more time with your family and they'll be in their feeling side and you can actually use those words, feeling or seeing or hearing. So sometimes when I'm talking in a presentation, I will use those three forms when I'm saying it, repeating myself. So this is, some of the symptoms is that you will actually have precognition, meaning you will know something in the future, or telepathy, you can kind of understand how people are thinking. And so we're going to talk about this incredible ability for your mind to actually pass this information, even through something as simple as water. So these are different water crystals, and depending on the kind of energy you put into it, like let's do it, or you fool, like something bad, or thank you, or I love you, or peace, the water crystals look totally different. So you can actually study this if you want. It's quite amazing. A polluted river compared to a clean stream has different kinds of formations of water crystals. Healing music compared to heavy metal, so you can see the difference. Thank you, like that's the crystal formation. Um, I will kill you. You make me sick. Something like that. Really different formation as compared to love and appreciation. So we have a short little, like if you pray, before and after the prayer, the water looking. So we have a quick video Javier is going to share, or Jillian's going to share.
We conducted another experiment, one that involved projecting our thoughts onto water and testing the effects of human thought forms and words. Through our website, we rounded up a group of volunteers to help us with this experiment. 4 groups of parents and their children participated. In this experiment, we used 2 glasses of tap water taken from Tokyo. We should note here that crystal formation has always eluded the waters of Tokyo. To 1 glass, all of the participants expressed gratitude, first out loud, then with their eyes closed. Next, they observed the water for any changes.
お水さんを大切にします。
はい。それじゃあ今言った言葉、お水に対する思い、これをみんなで目をつぶって祈ってください。はい、じゃあ目をつぶってください。1分間です。
The researcher is now transferring this water onto petri dishes. The children look on curiously.
Initially, みんながいろんな
3 hours later, the frozen water is ready for observation.
みんなで祈りを込めて言葉をかけた結晶を見ていきます。
We will start with the water that was left alone. Like so many times before, once again we observed a total lack of beautiful crystal formation in the tap water from Tokyo. Next, we will observe the water that was exposed to good thoughts. The children gaze into the monitor. What will happen to the tap water when their thoughts become one? Then, from within the darkness of the microscope, a small crystal appeared and slowly started to grow. A magnification increase revealed the sudden emergence of a single crystal, clear and simple, as if to epitomize the thoughts of the people who had gathered. And then, in response to the words and thoughts of the participants, the tap water from Tokyo produced a beautifully balanced crystal. Through crystallization, water is telling us that it can act as our mirror, that it can reflect human thought. Water has the ability to show us what we cannot see. The same water also flows through our bodies and nurtures all life on earth.
Alan, you're muted.
Oops. So, I mean, there's so many ways to show this. I will just share. This is about plants, and the experimentation was like to do this kind of things to plants and to see like this is rice, and when you talk about hate and all of that, this is actually rice, and how it starts like look how wasted that thing looks on the right. But IKEA did something really cool. So what they did was they had these plants, these trees, and on one they bullied the tree. They taught really nasty things like you're ugly and all of this. And the other one is one being complimented, and you're so beautiful, you're awesome. And these girls are like sharing love to this plant over here, the right. And this is the one being complimented, and this is the one being bullied. And I mean, it's just amazing when you look at the two plants, right? I mean, like, look at the one that's being complimented on the right and the one that's being bullied. So these are plants. These are plants with this kind of effort. So what do you think happens to us? I mean, like, wow. I mean, so we have to surround ourselves with love and care and kindness, and we got to be that effect on people. We have to be that beauty. So even when you talk bad about someone, even they're not even close to you, they're not in the same room, it makes a difference. You even just think bad thoughts and it makes a difference. So when our thoughts are positive, our hearts will be too. The law of attraction. Don't think of yourself as the ultimate architect of your future. Instead, think of yourself as carefully tending a garden of your existence, giving yourself the very best chance of having the very best life. So today we're gonna do a very short Ho'oponopono. This is a very simple Ho'oponopono we're gonna do today because of time. But when we do our camps, we're gonna do a long, really strong Ho'oponopono. And Ho'oponopono means to make right. Ho'o means to make right, and pono, like pono means right. So we're gonna make right, like super right, like super good. And this is a very simple practice you can have. So if you have a problem with someone, one of the first things you gotta do is just understand, okay, I have a problem with this person and I'm going to make this problem right. We have to take that responsibility. So you're going to really just say it this way. So you have to realize that you're a part of the problem. Your energy, your brain waves are a part of that problem. So instead of saying you're wrong or you're right, you say just, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive. I want you guys to all think of someone you're having a little disagreement with, maybe a parent, maybe a mom or dad, or just maybe one of your friends, or maybe even just one of your distributors, or maybe a customer. And what I want you to do is think of that person and say, I'm sorry. Take a deep breath. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. You can repeat it again. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So step one, when you say, I'm sorry, is repentance. You're just saying, I'm sorry. Repent. Ask for forgiveness. Please forgive me. And gratitude. Thank you. And love. I love you. So that's the steps that you're doing. Repentance, forgiveness, gratitude, and love. So Ho'oponopono can help restore harmony within and with others. So this is, the only problem with human beings is that they are arrogant, because that's what thinking is. This is, in essence, I know. Wisdom is being in the void, to be thoughtless, only by being in the void can the light come through. As long as I have something going on in my mind, the light can't come through. The light can only come in when the mind is cleared in that state of silence. So this is Ho'oponopono. This is one of the masters of Ho'oponopono, Dr. Hugh Len. And he actually worked this process in very serious prisons and things. And, saying to the prisoners, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Even the prisoners didn't do it. The change in energy created incredible results. So this is, if you want to be, if you want to change what's going on around you, change what's going on within you. So this is kind of maybe if you're Buddhist, the idea of becoming a Buddha, becoming this enlightened one, becoming one that is able to, clear their mind and always be in Ho'oponopono. So anyway, that is our brain. It's incredible power. And I'm going to talk now about this idea of sixth sense. So this sixth sense is a powerful way to use this incredible power. The door to the temple of wisdom is right here in the sixth sense. The trouble is not in changing thought, but to keep thoughts changed. So this is what we're going to be working with today. The sixth sense is that portion of the subconscious mind, which has been referred to as the creative imagination. It is also referred to as the receiving station through which ideas, plans, and thoughts flash into the mind. The flashes are sometimes called hunches or inspiration. So we're talking about, this incredible ability to see these hunches as creation. And, one of the first stories is about Thomas Edison, and he would sit for ideas. That's why in our meditation, we taught you the Thomas Edison way of holding a rock over a bucket. And if you fall asleep, you drop it. So he would have this quiet space, a closet basically, where he could control the lights, turn off the lights, put the rock in his hand, and then sit for ideas. Ideas come from space. It's hard to believe, but it's true. The ideas come from out of space, says Thomas Edison. So he would sit for these. Understanding of the sixth sense comes only by meditation through mind development from within. Quiet your mind. Sixth sense is the way the infinite intelligence communicates with your creative imagination voluntarily without any effort or demand from you. So sometimes what I find if I'm working really hard, that if I just take a day off and do nothing, just relax, like so many magical things occur. Like my brain gets to see the perfect end result, gets to see new solutions, new ideas come in. So some of the idea is not to multitask so much, not to work so hard, to actually allow this sixth sense to come through your brain. The subconscious mind is a sending station of your brain, which vibrates thoughts are broadcast. Basically, the creative imagination is the receiving set. So you have this broadcasting station and this receiving set. The sixth sense is the door to the temple of wisdom and the 13th step. So you have to master the 12 other steps so you can utilize this 13th and most powerful way of working. And I give Napoleon Hill a lot of credit for talking about this idea because it was quite far out actually. But it's about synchronicity is the universe's way of saying yes. So you have these coincidences that occur. One of the things that I know I'm so on a mission to end world hunger, to have 100,000 vitamin bags for Vietnam. So every time I'm hosting a meeting now, I know that the people in the meeting are all about helping me do this. It's just they wouldn't be attracted to the meeting. They wouldn't come unless somehow they were attached to this dominating thought of my mind. And it's called synchronicity. You start realizing that you have synchronicity. Synchronicity is not about orchestration, it is allowance of manifestation. Synchronicity is an inexplicable, profound meaning coincidence that stirs in the soul. So we're going to really start to see the synchronicity once we have practiced all of the other parts. So the way I say it is you open the valve and then all of the energy from the superconscious is coming up. You have unlimited energy and you have this incredible law of attraction. Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have the eyes to see, says Carl Jung. Synchronicity happens when you align with the flow of the universe rather than insisting the universe flows your way. So it's actually, we're going to see a video at the end of today, and you'll see how this plays into it is when you allow. So instead of the idea of thinking rich, the definite purpose, and all of that is you're creating. You become a deliberate creator. It's because of me. It's because of what I'm doing. But synchronicity is actually the next step. And that's why Napoleon put it at the end of the book, because what happens in the next step is it's because of me, it's because of what I'm doing, it's because I'm disciplined, which is very critical that you have this second gear of power. But then eventually you shift from second gear to third gear, like a car, a stick shift, and you allow that process to occur. And it starts putting things in order to put you on path. If your directions is change, keep smiling and then go with the flow. So what happens is the guidance starts taking over for you. You actually are connected to the superconscious, the guidance. The sixth sense probably is the medium of contact between the finite mind of man, and the infinite intelligence. So Napoleon Hill wrote something absolutely mind-blowing on this. He's talking about the invisible counselor's technique. And he talked about his counselors were people, be sure to have a definite purpose for holding these council meetings. So now you're in direction of the council meetings, but you have, long before I've ever written a line for publication or endeavored to deliver a speech in public, I follow the habit of reshaping my own character by trying to imitate the 9 men whose lives and life work has been the most impressive to me. So a simple beginning of this is to find a team elite that you think you could become, and then bring them into your room and copy them. In fact, you don't even have to bring them into your room. Watch them while you're in a summit or something like that, and watch them, and you can then copy them. You can copy their energy. You can copy their walking, their talking, the way their voice, their tone of voice, and then record them like in a presentation, and then listen to it 500 times. And that's one way to imitate those incredible leaders. But Napoleon Hill had these very special people that he had at his council table. So in the workshop of the mind, we put in that table. Remember, we put in a big table, and you can bring people into this. You can also talk to your, your downline or your group in that chamber as well, and find out what's bugging them or what's wrong. Napoleon, I desire to acquire from you by emulation the marvelous ability you possess to inspire men and to rouse them to greater and more determined spirit of action. Also, acquire the spirit of enduring faith that enables you to turn defeat into victory and to surmount staggering obstacles. Emperor of Fate, King of Chance, Man of Destiny, I salute you. So he's talking to these council members that he had in his, in his chambers, and each of the 9 men developed individual characteristics, which surprised me. For example, Lincoln developed the habit of always being late and walking around in a solemn parade. So, like, everybody started to seem to act on their own. Burbank Payne often indulged in witty repartee, which seemed at times to shock the other members of the cabinet. So he put this incredible cabinet together and then used them. So having a council. So during the portion that we did the other night, built our workshop. Excuse me. We had a table for this reason, for the council, but we also put a female and male assistant in your room. And I remember when I was using this a lot, I had like Wonder Woman and Superman in my workshop, and I guess I wanted it to be stronger. I wanted to be better, and so I put a Wonder Woman and a Superman in my shop, and they would give me advice on, like when I was going to Japan and working on my yo-yo business. They'd give me advice like, don't stop, go for it, and Wonder Woman say, hey, you know what, do this, do that, and so giving me advice as I was going through this process. So really, it's about this incredible creative imagination. You must again be skilled at the 5 steps. I mean, the 12 steps before you get to this step. Okay, if you neglect it for any cause whatever, you will be reduced to the primal state and become compelled to retrace the cycle through which you have passed during thousands of years. I was unable to tell the following morning whether I had dreamed this or had actually been awake. I have never since found out which I was. So it's really interesting if you start studying the book on the 13th, on this 13th principle, his conversations with the council. The subconscious mind works day and night through a method of procedure unknown to man. The subconscious mind draws upon the forces of infinite intelligence for the power with which it voluntarily transmutes one's desires into their physical equivalent. Make use always of the most practical media by which this end may be accomplished. So once you have practiced the 12 steps, you are ready to expose yourself to this incredible power. And I'll just tell you, like, I moved to Casa Aloha the first days of COVID, and all of the flowers in Casa exploded in bloom. It was like, this is just like, like 3 days of flowers. It just would do this like constantly all of the plants started to grow. I got like tons of fruits. I had like hundreds of pounds of loquat and things came off of the tree because it was just like the energy, this house needed that love. And, Rose and I living there, it just kind of caused this explosion to occur. So we have a couple videos for you tonight to end our topic. And let's play the first one. Javier, you got it, yeah? Or Jillian?
Which one is it that you want us to play?
The first one is the woman.
The fears. Stop scaring yourself.
Yep.
1 second.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
This woman has an incredible book on health and affirmations you can do for different health problems. So if you get to look at her book, it's amazing.
How often do you terrorize yourself with your own? Stop all criticism. Just stop it now and forevermore. And make a vow to yourself that you're going to do your very best from now on to stop criticizing, number one, you, and then other people. It'll be a lot easier to stop criticizing other people when you stop criticizing yourself. Now, number two on that list is stop scaring yourself. How often do you terrorize yourself with your own thoughts? You get into absolute terror, and it's only coming from your thoughts. Nobody out there is doing a thing. Sometimes it's an old family pattern, sometimes we get new things. I would like people, when you have time, to make a list of your fears. Make a list of your fears, and then give yourself the opportunity to turn each fear into a positive affirmation. Turn each one into something positive. And remember, always you are in charge. You are always in charge. See, one idle thought doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Thoughts are like drops of water. You drop a drop of water and it doesn't mean much. But if you keep dropping and keep dropping, you get a puddle on the floor, and then you can get a little pond and a lake, and finally you can create an ocean. And with our own thoughts, we can drown in a sea of negativity, or we can float on the ocean of life. And it's up to us. The thoughts we think accumulate. And what sort of puddles are you standing in? Or are you up to here? Or are you up to here and trying to paddle? You know, what are you doing to yourself? When we're willing to change our thinking, we can change our experiences. And it doesn't matter if you've got a big puddle of negative thoughts. You know, you can move over here and create a puddle of mindfulness, positive thoughts. You can make changes, always. So you want to turn those fear thoughts into positive affirmations. Let them work for you.
So I put in the chat the book's title. It's called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. Really amazing book of affirmations and things. If you have physical ailments, problems, you can use this book to help you heal those issues. And it's really, again, the power of mind, the power of affirmations, the power of the sixth sense, the power of this incredible brain that we have. It's all of that, but kind of almost getting to the spiritual nature of what we're dealing with. So this is, the 13th chapter. I mean, this is the big one. This is where we really start connecting. And so we have to do these disciplines. So I'm gonna just preview this video on Reverend Michael Beckwith. So this guy was the one featured in The Secret. He was one of the speakers in The Secret. And he talks about the 4 levels of spiritual awareness or awakening. And the idea, number 1, is that, everything happens to me, to me, to me. This is the kind of first level of consciousness when you're kind of like victim and you're getting everything happening to you. But the second level is what Think and Grow Rich mainly is about, is because of me. So where we become deliberate creators, we set goals, we create a master mind, we create a plan, we start working with this people, or we start working our plan, we start taking physical action towards its attainment, and we become literally skilled at this. We become deliberate creators to the point where everything you want, you can have the wealth, everything you want. But there's a magical moment that occurs. It happened for me where everything was happening. I had everything I wanted, pretty much. And then you ask the question, because you enjoy this relationship, this power, you enjoy it so much, it becomes this relationship of love and connection, and it feels amazing. You're always empowered, you're always feeling good. And the third step occurs. You finally one day just say, I'm getting everything I want. What do you want? And you're talking to yourself, like to God, basically. And you say, what do you want? What do you want me to do? Because I just want to continue. This is fun. And you get the answer. For me, that answer was, okay, end world hunger. And I was like, oh my God, like, no, how about something smaller? Let's make a bargain here. Let's do something more doable, something more like possible for me. And it's like you asked, those who are given much, much is expected. I'll just repeat that one more time. Those who are given much, much is expected. And you just like, oh my gosh, I told you a little bit of the stories of what happened for me when Patty Acosta came to Oregon to help me in this journey. And I was just months away from retiring and, really finishing my new skin work, kind of retire and do something else. And then this happened. And I was like, oh my gosh. So anyway, I'm just going to tell you that sometimes people have dreams, visions, all of that. Like, I want to do, something. I'm gonna go to Africa and help all of the people make homes or something like that. But they're living here in level 1, but I cannot even pay my rent. So they're living, things are happening to me, level 1 awareness, but they're trying to get to level 4. Like, I'm going to, be a causal agent for the world. I'm going to make amazing things happen to the world. And what my mentor talked about was this idea that you have to kind of go through the gears. You're in first gear, everything's happening to me. You gotta get to this second gear. Think and Grow Rich is the second gear because of me. So you become empowered to get all of the things you want done. This is second gear. And then you go to third gear, which is through me, everything starts occurring. So you actually release it back into the ether and just know that the law of attraction is going to get it done. And I'm not having to do all of the work, that there is this force that is helping me to end world hunger now, and I'm attracting the right people, and everybody sees the picture is possible, and it starts occurring. This mastermind of mastermind starts occurring, and it starts going in that direction. And then it becomes level 4 as me. I master this amazing abilities, right? I master it. And so we're going to really end tonight with this idea. It's quite a big idea, but what happens is too many times people living in level 1 are butterflying, I call it. They're just floating. Boom, I'm going to be this incredible leader. I'm going to have, I'm going to end starvation or build 1 million homes or something like that. And that's the dream. But they're here most of the time. You say, okay, well, if you're going to go and do this in Africa, let's go fly to Africa. Let's go check it out. And they go, I cannot. I don't have enough money to even pay my rent this month. So they're in level 1. It's happening to them. And they're trying to get to level 4. The key of Think and Grow Rich is to create the disciplines, the thinking disciplines, the auto-suggestion, the mastermind. All of those steps are the stepping stones for you to go from first gear to second, and then to third, and then to fourth. So to make it clear, I'm going to show you this video from Reverend Michael Beckwith. And I think this will kind of clarify this idea. So avoid butterflying. Avoid butterflying. Just know you have to build the disciplines. You have to build the 12 principles before you get to the last step.
Many years ago, I came up with a model of stages of spiritual growth, development, and unfoldment that we could have a wonderful conversation about what that looks like. What came to me, through me at that time, was the 4 stages: to me, by me, through me, and as me. That first stage, something happening to me, I'm a victim. I live believing that something outside of me determines my destiny, my happiness, my success, my well-being. Stage 2, by me, is the stage in which we learn to manifest. We actually use our mind, our conversation, spiritual practices, and we begin to use spiritual principles to manifest the kind of life that we can imagine. It's the manifester stage. Stage 3, through me. It means I've done such rich work in stage 2 that I have an inner subjective belief that life is for me, that the universe is progressive, that something wonderful is always trying to happen, and I learn to yield to it, to surrender to it, to give over to it. This is the stage in which you go into the zone at times. You have a peak experience. Something is operating through you. And then stage 4 is as me. The line of separation is dissolved, and I feel my oneness with all of life with no filter. Stage 1 is victim. Stage 2 is manifester. Stage 3 is being a channel or a place. Stage 4, I'm it. No separation. So in the stage 1, the victim consciousness, We feel disenfranchised from the world, disenfranchised from opportunities. We disenfranchised for what we've inherited from the universal presence. We're separated, we're isolated, we're alone. In stage 2, we use what is often called mind power in the right use of our imagination, creative visualization, high, wonderful conversations, keeping our attention high to create a vibrational match of that which we would want to manifest. It's very masculine. I am using the laws. I am directing my attention. I'm making something happen. Stage 3, it's more feminine. I'm yielding. I'm surrendering. I'm allowing. Because I've come to an awareness that the order that we all depend on, I don't make that order. That order already exists. I'm yielding to it. I'm surrendering to it. Stage 4, the sense of separation is dissolved and I feel totally at one with life. Stage 2, I'm making something happen. Stage 3, I'm making something welcome. There's a shift. There's a shift. Research has shown that when you know why something works, it even works better. For instance, we know that vitamin C is good for us. But if you actually read something about vitamin C and see the efficacy of how it works on the body temple, then when you take vitamin C, the vitamin C is enhanced throughout your body temple in terms of your immune system, etc. These 4 stages, when you actually study the map, you actually read about it, you actually do the practice, it enhances and expedites your spiritual growth, development, and unfoldment because now you know why as well as what.
So what I'm saying is that from my reality, you have to be able to sometimes downshift. So you have this great vision, you have this great idea, you got to go back to level 2 to get moving, to create a goal, to create a mastermind, to create a plan, to go after it, like really go after it. And then allow again, so you're kind of going through, like, it's like climbing a hill. I mean, like, you got to be in first gear. If you don't have first gear, you're in second gear, you're never going to really get, just trying to go up that hill in fourth gear is not the way. You kill your clutch, you kill your car. So what you have to do is be able to shift gears into the gear you need to be in to get the results that you want, and to also get the joy and pleasure, and to get the big vision, all of that. So you have a big vision, but this steps that Napoleon Hill talks about, the 12 other principles, are the gears. It's like a 12-gear Mack truck, and you're driving this Mack truck and you're going through all of the gears. And so you start with a burning desire, you start with a desire, an idea, you start with an idea, you create a burning desire for that idea, you start adding belief and faith that you can achieve it, you start creating an auto-suggestion, a statement that you can suggest to yourself over and over, and you start suggesting that to yourself, and you create, the mastermind, and you start actually create a plan. You organize your plan. You use the power of the mastermind to do this, and you start moving. I mean, this truck is starting to go through the gears, and you're going through it, and eventually you get moving really fast, and you allow. You go into that feminine energy, and you allow it. And it's, when I watch Dean Wynn working, he's always in that third state, that allow state. He's allowing. Sometimes I've asked him before, like, he says it's like a river, and there's a rock, and the water just allows itself to go around the rock and continue down. And it's like always like that with Dean. I love working with Dean because of that. It's always like it's not forced. It's not forced, it's allowed. And so that's really high level of awareness. And then going to, where I'm it. Like, I'm not fighting that. Why am I the one who has to work on this world hunger deal? I'm allowing it. I'm it. It's the way it is. And I'm part of this massive universe. Everybody's it. In reality, everybody's it. If you're on this call, you are probably a part of that mission with me. There's no doubt about it in my mind. And that's what this is all about. And we're going to do something great in 2023. And we're going to change the world. And that's because we're it. We're the ones. So I know today we had a lot of great sharing from Patty Acosta, from Dean Wynn, from Napoleon Hill. But I just want you guys to really, if you want to study this last chapter a little more, read it again. Napoleon Hill says, after going to the end of the book, come back and read this chapter again. So please do that, because it will make more sense and more sense and more sense the more you read it. And this time in my reading of the book, it even made more sense to me. And even what Michael Beckwith said makes even more sense to me now. So it's a constant growth, 40 years of personal development journey for me to get to this level. All right, Patty, you have any comments? Or Dean, you have any comments for us?
Sí, estoy aquí.
No, Alan, just go ahead.
I just want to say thank you, Bizcochito. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
thank
you're
you.
welcome. You're welcome, everybody. Well, have an incredible night. Javier, if we could kind of finish up our event today. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Alan. And thank you, everybody.
Aloha, everybody.
Alan,
Gracias, Alan.
Thank you. Gracias, Laura. Gracias, tu colaboración, tu traducción. Muchas gracias, Laura.
¿Quién habla en inglés?
Adiós.
Un abracito.
Gracias.
Gracias. Very much. Thank you very much. Un abracito.
Gracias desde Canadá.
Thank you.
Gracias desde Canadá.
Nos vemos. Bye.
Chilena en Canadá, muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Gracias, aloha. Gracias, aloha.
Thank you, bizcochito. Thank you very much.
Al bizcochito. Grande bizcochito.
Fernández.
Lo mejor. Muchas gracias, querido Alan.
Gracias.
Desde México.
Increíble.
Thank you, Alain.
Gracias, Laurita.
Increíble capacitación. Me encanta. Conectando con el universo y la ley de